Welcome, beautiful people, koostiq's here, and today we're gonna be talking about Phantom Liberty, Cyberpunk 2077 new expansion, which is amazing, so let's get to it. Ah! If you played Cyberpunk before, or if you haven't, you still have this picture in mind what Cyberpunk is. It's like very advanced city, near crazy people, mega corporations, cyberware, implants, and so on and so forth. In Cyberpunk 2077, we have Night City, which is a combination of all of those qualities, all of those things combined in a city. It's dark, it's gritty, it's raw, it's like Megacorps, Arasaka, Militech, like implants, cyber psychos, MaxTech, all of this stuff. But on the other hand, we have people who live in this city, who struggle with their day-to-day life, struggling for money, for freedom, they're struggling for power, they're struggling for success. So Cyberpunk is those two components like city and people combined together. And if you combine all of those things and package them in some small, tight, and raw experience, it would be Phantom Liberty expansion for Cyberpunk 2077. And it is a great product in itself as a standalone thing, but as an expansion, it makes Cyberpunk base game even more immersive, even more bigger, even more great. Phantom Liberty has captivating, engaging story. It has great characters played by like world-known actors. It has its own small city, which is very unique in its own way, and it has the people which are struggling again, and with their stories, how they struggle for this or how they struggle for that, but mostly how they're trying to survive in this city and how they're trying to get out or how they're trying to get in of the Dogtown. And all of this packaged in a spy thriller, which is really well written, where you believe in every word that NPC says, but you believe them, but you know that you can trust them, which makes it even better. And in the end, it all culminates in finales which are mutually exclusive and both are equally sad. But that's how life is for the most part. Unfortunately, it even adds a new finale to the base game, which is a happy ending in my opinion. But most of you will not think the same, I think. So better play it and see for yourself. And concluding all of these words, I would say the DLC is a must play for me, and now we'll dive deep into the details. And now I would like to talk about the components that make Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty expansion great. First of all, it's Dogtown, a new region on the map, which is completely separate from Night City, but you can go back and forth freely, but it feels completely different from the Night City itself. It has its own slums, it has its own ruler, Kurt Hansen, ex-military, now businessman, arms dealer, and pretty handsome person in my opinion. And Dogtown has militia, which is called Barghest, small Easter egg for Witcher series. Dogtown has its own very unique identity. On the one hand, you can see slums, people in dirt, people in poverty. On the other hand, you see those abandoned big megacorp buildings which used to serve as museums, as railway stations, etc., etc. And now they're just empty, half broken. For the most part, you can visit them and see how they used to look beforehand, and it feels really nice visiting them. And some buildings serve as a Barghest and Kurt Hansen HQ right now. You get to visit those too. So yeah, Dogtown, its own region with its own history, with its own people, with its own stories, with its own character. And now moving on to the next component, which are the characters. First of all, you have Solomon Reed, played by Idris Elba, who is insane. CD Projekt RED took what they learned from working with Keanu Reeves. They took it, they thought about it, they improved it, and took it to a whole other level. Solomon Reed, played by Idris Elba, looks absolutely stunning. You believe everything that character does. every his move, every his step, every his breathe, every his word. I mean, Idris Elba is just great, but CD Projekt RED, yeah, they've worked on it really hard and it totally paid off. For me, I believed in this character and in his acting so much. At some point in the game, he asked you to shake his hand, and even though I don't trust this character at this point of the game and I didn't want to shake his hand, I was like, man, when will I have another chance to shake Idris Elba's hands, right? So I just had to shake his hand. Even if we think that Solomon Reed is a main character in the story would not be complete, would not be 100% true without his counterpart, Songbird, who is prodigy netrunner, real hard, real talented, and they act kind of like counterparties at some point in the game, and another point they act like they're allies, and you never know who to trust, which is great. So this dance between those two characters, Salman Reed and Songbird, adds a lot of depth, a lot of emotion, a lot of like raw spirit to the game, and it helps its believability. They also recorded new lines for Johnny Silverhand, aka Keanu Reeves, for this DLC. And now Johnny Silverhand feels more alive. He's not as stubborn and not as much pain in the ass, rather than he's your wise comrade who like speaks truth and he wants better for you in your life and your journey. And overall, Johnny Silverhands feels much more alive right now, especially in this expansion. Another component that makes Phantom Liberty great is gigs and side missions. At first, I was thinking they would be separate from the main game itself, like it used to be in the base game of Cyberpunk 2077, but they actually really intertwined. At the very beginning of Phantom Liberty expansion, your fixer in the Dogtown, Mr. Hands, helped you with some matters regarding main story, and then main story and gigs from Mr. Hands kind of split. But the geeks, they still provide you with exceptional detail about the Dogtown, about the characters that act in it. They give you much more detail about Dogtown. They give you much more detail about its struggles. And in the end of those missions, you're presented with a choice. And unlike in The Witcher, where is always a choice between lesser evil and greater evil, in Cyberpunk you have two equally evil solutions, in my opinion. And whatever you do, you feel bad about it, but it still tells you a story about the Dogtown, about the Night City, about the cyberpunk genre itself, and it's just great, and it helps push the story forward. And closer to the end of the expansion, Mr. Hands will be intertwined with the main story quest again, and it is really interesting, and I haven't expected it, and it is great. And my recommendation is you do every side mission and every gig that you find in Dogtown, because all of them are worth checking out, and they would give you the emotions you are needed, even if you don't know that you need them. Another component is combat. This DLC, this expansion is really action-packed. All of the side gigs expects you to fight someone for the most part. A lot of main missions expect you to find a lot of enemies. You can like avoid it and you can play stealth, but I chose violence. And this action-packed expansion would just not work with bad combat system. And with patch 2.0, they completely remade the combat and cyberware system, which helps immensely to the immersion of the game. You can check my video on patch 2.0 update, clicking by the hint somewhere over here. So yeah, with patch 2.0, they completely remain perk system. You can mix and match a lot of different mechanics, a lot of different skills. You can be like melee, samurai with stealth, and then with dashing, and then like with smart weapons. Or you can be like stealth with melee blunt weapons, or whatever. There are a lot of chances now to mix and match your abilities to fit your gameplay better. And speaking about cyberware, with the new DLC, with this expansion, they added new iconic cyberware, which is insane. And when you see those, you think, oh my god, how do I fit all of those? but with new system you cannot do that, unfortunately, or I would say maybe not really unfortunate, because you trying to find your little bits of cyberware capacity here and there. Maybe I can unequip this, maybe I can equip this. Do I need this like gorilla hands? Maybe I can unequip them so I can fit another like iconic Kiroshi optics. Man, I think I spent like 2-3 hours in cyberware window, like cyberware interface, thinking what can I remove, what can I add, how can I improve my armor, how can I improve my crit chance, how can I improve this, how can I improve that. And yeah, this new cyberware system is really good and I enjoyed it a lot. They also added new relic perk tree, which is not really big or game breaking, but it added new styles in the game. You can now like see weak spots of your enemies, you can use your hand cyberware more efficiently, you can use your stealth more efficiently, a little bit of this, a little of that, and overall it feels great. And at this point I would like to say that RPG systems in Cyberpunk never felt better. It all like serves the whole purpose of immersion, of Cyberpunk experience. Cyberware, perk trees, relic tree, like inventory, iconic guns, and yeah, all of this feels really Cyberpunk. Yeah, and last but not least is definitely writing. Man, whoever wrote the script and dialogues and this whole expansion, like writing, is top notch, and I enjoyed it through and through. I even found myself sitting on the edge of the chair, like thinking what option in the dialogue I should choose, time running out, and I'm like, if I choose wrong, what will gonna happen? I believed everything that happened on my screen so much, and I think it's one of the best writing in video games ever. Yeah, I've just said it. And I think that first person only perspective in the game really helps with the immersion, really helps to believe what the characters are saying, how they're acting, despite the fact it was heavily criticized when the base game dropped.
The president, a merc, and a special agent walk into the Oval Office. Question is, where do I fit into this joke?
So now we have a lot of little details. We have combat, we have characters, we have town, we have this, we have that, and every little detail builds up during the expansion just to erupt right in the final hours. So yeah, in the end you get two mutually exclusive endings, which are both like entertaining, which are both completely cyberpunky, and yeah, they're just great, and I'm sad that it finished. Now, to sum it up, I'd like to say that Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk 2077 is an redemption arc. They finally fixed the game completely. They finally bring it to the state it originally should have been like that. Is it cool that game released unready, uncooked, raw? No. Is it good that in the course of 3 years they completely remade all of the systems, all of this stuff, and presented us with a new great DLC? Absolutely. Does it deserve the hate? Maybe a little. Does it deserve the praise? Absolutely. Now finishing Phantom Liberty and watching Edgerunners anime made me wish for a new Cyberpunk game as fast as possible, but I think that's not gonna happen soon, so yeah. So my verdict is 9 out of 10, and it is absolute must play, and I could recommend it for any game enjoyer out there. It was worth the waiting. Thank you for watching, stay curious, and happy gaming!
Click the like button if you like the video, leave a comment in the comment section below, and please consider subscribing to this channel if you would like to see more videos like this one.